World building is best when the animals in your setting actually do things. In this episode, we'll dive into 5 unsung workers that shaped rural life long before modern machinery. We'll look at oxen, the slow engines that hauled freight before railroads existed, barn cats who kept grain stores safe by waging constant war on pests, pigs whose rooting helped farmers shape ponds and manage land, goats who clear brush, carve paths, and change the landscape one bite at a time, and honeybees, the tiny labor force behind thriving orchards and abundant crops. For fiction writers who want their worlds to feel authentic, practical, and grounded in reality, these animals aren't background characters, they're the workforce that makes a rural setting believable. Learn about all of this and more in today's episode. Welcome to Writing Rural with Allie, the fiction writer's inspiration station for rural life and lifestyles, from historical to post-apocalyptic, helping you bring your rural stories to life. This is episode number 117, World Building with Another 5 Working Animals, Part 2. Every word was written by Allie, and this episode is currently voiced by AI. Stick around to the end to find out all the ways things could possibly go wrong in your story. Now, let's get into this. Today, I have 5 more working rural animals for you. Number 6, oxen. Oxen are not their own species. I know, little kid me was shocked to learn that too. Oxen are actually bulls, aka male cattle, that have typically been castrated and trained. Their training is to haul heavy loads. This means oxen are typically more muscular than a regular bull, and they have better endurance. They are castrated to keep their temperament calmer. This makes them easier to handle and less likely to hurt the character. Bulls can become aggressive, but especially when the cows, aka the ladies, are in heat, sometimes called estrus. With their training, oxen can do some seriously heavy work. Yes, in history and even in places today, they were used for plowing fields, powering grain mills, and pulling wagons. But did you know they also pulled cross-country freight before trains? It's true. They also pulled heavy things such as stones. I remember learning about them helping pull the stones for the pyramids when I was in school. They also moved stones for roads, canals, and things like this. Oxen were important to land clearing as skidders. That means they were pulling trees or logs across the ground, while the act of pulling logs or trees is called skidding. Sure, it is great for the logging industry, but it was important for clearing land to make a home. Tree stumps need pulled to build homes. If your character builds a home on a tree stump, especially if there is a dirt floor, the stump will try to grow inside their home. Oxen were also important to move logs to make log homes, usually to where trees are not found. This could be 1 mile or 100 miles away from the nearest tree. You get the idea. Some of the reasons people preferred oxen, other than their strength, include their calmer temperament. This made them easier to handle for the inexperienced or even children. In most of history, and even in many places today, kids are allowed to steer the animals as soon as they are big enough and have enough experience to control them. Another reason is that they can work longer hours without overheating. Oxen are also reliable in mud, snow, and rough terrain, where horses would not do well. Number 7, the barn cat. Barn cats are next up, and don't let the name fool you. These cats are not lab cats. They are mildly feral, and while some like people, some only tolerate them. We currently have several. Some are lovable, some tolerate us, but there's always that one. Yes, I have one, and we call him Monk. He loves to play with my kids, mostly because he's still a kitten. He will let them pet him on the ground. However, if anyone but me tries to pick him up, they will get clawed. If I hand him off to anyone, they will get clawed. He, like many barn cats, picked a person, and while he doesn't mind the others, he has his limits. Frankly, barn cats have a job to do, a job they love. Can you guess what it is? If you said being petted, you clearly are a city kid. Hunting. Barn cats are great mousers, and it doesn't stop there. Mice, rats, small snakes, lizards, and even birds. Anything that gets into the barn. The reason this is important is that mice and rats will get into the feed, eating it and pooping in it. This contaminates the feed. Mice and rats not only carry diseases humans can get, but animals too. To top that off, snakes will follow mice. I know from experience, as we had a horrible outbreak of mice at our home when my oldest was little, and the snakes followed them inside. My toddler almost stepped on a copperhead snake. Talk about giving this mama a heart attack. On top of that, mice and rats will eat the wood the barn is made of, along with insulation, and even chew on saddles and leather harnesses, among other things. Now, we let the barn cats roam around our home for this reason, and most farms do. I even have shelter up close to the house in case they need or want it. Now, it's true that barn cats can technically be companionship. We have some 4-month-old kittens that think my kids hung the moon and want to spend time with them whenever they see them. They also can make companions for other animals. Sometimes they attach to animals in the barn. I have seen this with pigs, horses, goats, and even the dog. Some animals just click. 2 points of note. First, they love to be underfoot. Carrying a bale of straw, they will be underfoot. I have personally tripped on them and even stepped on them, although they are normally more careful afterward. Don't want to do that twice. Second, once male cats are grown, can disappear for days to weeks. They are basically out with the female cats in the area. They always come back. This isn't as big a deal if they're fixed, but that isn't something that happened in most of history. Number 8. Pigs. Now, I have a full episode on pigs, so I am just giving you the highlights here. First up is land clearing. Pigs are shockingly good at rooting up weeds, thorns, and even brush, whether you want them to or not. This can help with cleaning up undergrowth to prevent forest fires. It also helps to remove things in the way of the trees, whether the character is a logger or owns an orchard, although they can root under a tree and kill the tree, so if there's an orchard, they will need to be monitored. Now, I have always known them as the perfect pond sealer. You see, in history, if people wanted a pond, they would simply pin up the pigs and they would dig them a pond. Not like a dog digs, but rooting it up with their noses. However, unlike with digging that we think of, using their noses compacts the ground under the area they rooted. They compact the ground so well that the ground will not let water through. Then, when it rains, the pond starts to fill up, and in a little bit of time, it will become full. Sometimes, ponds need resealed, and a farmer will pump the pond and let pigs in to reseal it. This saves time and money needed for heavy equipment, and the hard work if your character would have had to dig a whole pond with a shovel. Now, if you don't know, pigs love table scraps. You know what else loves table scraps? Mice and rats. Using pigs as table waste disposals to avoid attracting mice and rats would be a big help in places that didn't have a barn cat to do that job. They will also take any leftover feed other animals will not eat. Maybe the feed got wet and the horses will not eat it. The pigs will. This saves on feed as your character will not have as much feed waste. And let's not forget that pigs make perfect body disposals for your stories. It's something the mob in this area used to do to get rid of bodies. Pigs will eat everything, including bones. It's also a danger for elderly, young, or easy to knock over characters. There are many tales of the elderly going to feed the pigs, and the bucket is found in the pig pen, but the person is never seen again. On the more gory side, pig intestines have been used for wound sutures since at least the 3rd century. So if your characters have hurt themselves, well, you know where to find the thread to sew them up. Number 9, goats. Goats are up next, and we all saw vegetation control coming. Goats will eat weeds, brush, thorns, bushes, shrubs, small trees, and anything else they can get their mouths on. This is great for fire control and preparing the land for new things, maybe to put cattle in an area or to get the brush down before plowing a new field. Whatever the case, goats are a go-to. Side note, goats are notorious escape artists. Your characters will find them out through broken fences, broken gates, things they climbed on to get over the fence, a tree with low limbs they can use to escape, and sometimes no seeable reason they got out. It's frustrating, but a great feeling to figure it out and beat them when they keep escaping with no visible way out for an extended period of time. Did you know goats are sometimes trained to pull carts? This can be for moving things, but not too heavy. However, most times it's a cart that kids enjoy playing in. It's mostly an Amish thing nowadays, but was very popular in history. Number 10. Honeybees. This one you likely didn't see coming. Now I hear you, but Allie, how do bees work? Don't they just make honey? They do one of the most important jobs, well, ever. Now, while that might sound silly, they are responsible for literally 90% or more of the pollination for every plant. Imagine for a second if 90% of the normal amount of fruit and vegetables a plant produced simply stopped growing every single time. Crop yields would be in the toilet. Your character would basically need to plant 99 acres to grow produce that you could harvest out of 1 acre today. That is a huge difference. In modern times, beekeepers sometimes move hives to different fields to pollinate crops. That is why they make this list as a working animal. The other thing is that bees would make great weapons. If your characters are like me and have a phobia of flying things with stingers, then they will not be going near the hive. Your character could also find a way to knock a hive over onto a bad guy. Maybe it is rigged to tip over or to be dropped from a tree. Whatever the case, they will attack whatever is moving nearby, and if that is your bad guy, I hope they are not allergic. Well, unless they deserve what is coming to them. Now, I do have 3 episodes around this topic: Beekeeping 101, Honey, and Beeswax, if you would like to learn more about bees. They were some of my first episodes, so please forgive the cringe. Fun fact: honey was used as an antibiotic for wound healing in ancient Egypt as far back as 3000 BC. One quick reminder before we get to all the ways things could possibly go wrong in your story. If you enjoy this podcast, I hope you'll take a minute to follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you are listening on YouTube or Substack, subscribe, hit the like button, and drop me a comment. I love to hear from you and answer questions. Don't forget to share with a friend. Now, for everyone's favorite part, what could possibly go wrong in your story? Likely to go wrong, your character walks into the goat pen and gets headbutted. Also likely to go wrong, your character's goat keeps escaping and getting into the feed, eating holes in the bags. Possible to go wrong, your character tries to pet the barn cat and gets clawed. Also possible to go wrong, while moving a beehive, your character is stung by a bee. If they are allergic, they will need to get immediate medical attention, or this could be deadly. Unlikely to go wrong, while trying to set up a beehive as a booby trap, your character drops the hive. The bees swarm your character. Also unlikely to go wrong, your character's oxen dislike the way your character is treating them. The oxen turns on them and attacks. This would be scary at best and could be deadly. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities, your character is hauling freight with oxen. They accidentally fall in front of the freight and their oxen run them over. This could be painful or even deadly. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities, your character is knocked over by hungry pigs. If they can't get out of there and there is no help close by, this could be deadly. Thanks for listening. Until next time, happy wordsmithing.